When you were in World War II, in the military, did you ever think you would be a pilot?
No.
No?
I wanted to be, but I figured there's no way I could ever afford to learn how to fly. I always wanted to learn to fly. When I was a kid down in Minto, I'd go snowshoe runway for the airplanes on the bar in front of the village there. Nobody else would do it, and so I'd go. I was about 7 years old. And ever since I saw an airplane, I wanted to fly one.
What year did you go to pilot school?
Well, as soon as I got out of the military.
Oh, so in 46.
Yeah, 46.
Yeah. Wow.
And then I started out in June of 46, and I got my private license in July.
Wow.
I scrounged around and borrowed money from my mother a little bit and from a couple of my brothers. And I bought a little T-craft airplane, two-place airplane. Started going into flying business out of Nenana, flying trappers and hunters. They had all these airplanes that were flying on the Lend Lease from the States to Russia. And then, but the Russians would pick them up here in Ladd Field.
You remember the Russians coming
Yeah.
through? What were they like?
Oh, they were, you couldn't understand any of them. They bought all the stores out of all the women's clothing and all kinds of goodies they could get in those airplanes and fly back to Russia with.
Wow. So they just bought
Around the
goods and
store,
supplies and just brought it back to Russia.
Yeah, stuff they wanted that they couldn't get over there.
The one thing I want you to know, Holly, you have just interviewed a guy that has put more miles and hours in the state of Alaska than any other pilot with a single engine airplane. This guy has covered more of Alaska than any other living pilot today and probably
Wow.
forever, and especially the first 25 years without any real navigational aids.
Wow.
It was all by dead reckoning and by using a map, and the only radio communications we had in those years was the communications, what they called high frequencies, from the airplane to a station that you could talk back and forth. But it didn't give you any knowledge on where you were at unless you were real close to them. You could have them talk, and as you, if the voices got lower and lower, you know you're going away from that village or you're coming up on it if it got louder and louder. So a guy that has covered more of Alaska than any other pilot and has never been lost.
Amazing.
Never been, I mean, there's pilots here left Fairbanks couldn't even find Fort Yukon.
Wow.
They spent 7-10 days.
Crazy.
Now that's only 150, 60 miles away. But God, this guy's covered the whole state. Now, I don't know how much he's covered in southeastern, but other than southeastern, he's covered this whole country.
Wow.
All the way to the Canada Territory, every bit of it with a single engine airplane has never been lost. So all these years, Al and I have stumbled together. We've had a lot of fun together. We've flown a lot, and we've had a good life. But I just didn't want to fly them single engine airplanes anymore when I left Al. And I said, I'm going to go into a multi-engine airplane where I got good instruments. I mean, his airplanes were well instrumented. There was nothing wrong with his airplanes, but they're all single engine. And I just wanted to move up. I didn't want to stay in a single engine airplane. And then later on, Al, he got lighter airplane, twin engine airplanes, and he flew them a lot. But man, some of the trips he would send you on and some of the trips he'd go on, hell, it was just like going out to hell and back. I mean, you try to find a trapper out here and he shows you on a map This is where the trapper's at, and you're looking at it, and hell, it's near nobody.
Yeah.
And how the hell are you gonna find it? Just other than this little pencil mark on the map, this is where you'll find them.
You know, sometimes these trappers would be moved to another area. And so they'd say, well, the day that you're gonna pick me up, I'll build a big fire and keep it going.